Auburn Blitz is now on the air. Your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Welcome into the Tuesday edition of the Auburn Blitz. Love to hear from you today, 256-234-6221. Our phone lines will be open the entire hour of the program today. Can't thank all of you enough for tuning in. Weekdays, 12 to 1. Jim Hardy here with me today, and SEC Media Days coming to a close this past week. Jim, you've got the media making their predictions on how the season will play out. I don't know that I expected it to be any better. I really didn't, but Auburn comes in, the SEC media predicting their final order of finish. Auburn coming in at number 10, Vandy number 16, Mississippi State 15. I'll run back through the ones that Auburn's in front of. Vandy 16, Mississippi State 15, Arkansas 14, South Carolina 13, Florida 12, Kentucky 11, and Auburn there at number 10. Texas A&M coming in one step ahead of Auburn. Your thoughts? Was that about the order of finish that you expect, or was that what you thought people would think?
Well, I think if you look at it in the games that you hope they can win, or that they should win because of their talent and where they are, home versus away, you've basically put all those teams that below them that we think they can already beat, that they're going to play the Arkansas, they're going to play the Vanderbilt. Texas A&M, to us is going to be a toss-up kind of game because they could be a good team and could not. I think that you're looking at a gap, and I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday. That gap between 6 and 12, all those teams right in there could be, any one of them could be a 6 or be a 10 or be 11. The good thing about Auburn in those games is we play a lot of them at home. Yes.
The two major ones that I look at out of those, now Missouri not. Got to go on the road to Missouri.
Right.
Kentucky's right there with us. I've already said loud and clear, I feel like the game that I'm worried the most about on the road outside of the two that we know that we're going to be big-time deficits in going in is a Kentucky game. Mm-hmm. I'm worried about Kentucky at night. Mm-hmm. On the road, always been a tough venue to go and play. But Texas A&M, mm-hmm. that's a good setup for us. Oklahoma, mm-hmm. great setup for us.
Oh, yeah.
You can't ask for the schedule to be much better than it is this year for an Auburn team that – I don't really think that we're a lot better than this, mm-hmm. but I think what you said says a lot, that we're right there in the mix with 5 or 6 other teams as well that I don't think are much better than we are.
Yeah, talent-wise, I think there's a group in there of about 6 to 7 teams that could finish anywhere in that bubble. Now, if they got on a run, an Auburn or an A&M, somebody like that, and made that run, they could have that 9-3 season that people are not expecting them. But most of that group should be 7, 5, 8, or 4.
Yeah, and I do look down through there because that bottom half, gosh, Mississippi State's fallen, haven't they?
Right.
What do you think the reasoning is for that? I mean, is it all Mike Leach? Is it all the change up of philosophy during the Leach regime? That is part of what you deal with when you go to a totally different look, a totally different scheme than the rest of the SEC's playing. It may be okay if you can build a philosophy and build a culture around that, but the moment that that's no longer there and that leader's no longer there, you've got to build for a few more years to get the players back up to the level that the rest of the conference is playing.
Well, and look at the demographics, too, as well as where they're located. They're just kind of out in the middle of nowhere by themselves. Kids are not looking for a lot of that right now, so you're going to have to get what you said, that name brand to go out there and mm-hmm. start something. You got to get that Leach or that I think of his name in a minute.
Dan
Mullins.
Yeah,
get that group out there and get them excited. And there's probably a little struggle with NIL there as well, because I don't think there's a lot of money out there to be pushed into that program.
Well, if they do have it, it tends, like Vandy, to go toward that baseball program,
sure,
which they've hung their hat on and successfully for quite some time. You can say Mississippi State and Ole Miss has been down for a few years in baseball, but I don't think any of us expect that to be long term.
No.
Vandy, I don't think anyone expected them to be any higher than that. Mississippi State coming in next. Let's run through these teams real quick and just get some quick thoughts. Arkansas, it's hard for me as an Auburn fan to ever look down at Arkansas and think that there's much being built there. I don't know why we have as much success against Arkansas as we do, but when we get ahead of Arkansas, when we have a really good game against Arkansas, we win by 50 points, it feels like.
Yeah.
And so never do I look down at the name of Arkansas and be scared or timid when it comes to football.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of strange there, too, because you got, I forgot the, not the quarterback, the coach that just went there for basketball, Calipari, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You've got the Tyson food money there. You've got people that could pour money into
The
that
Walmarts,
program.
yep.
Yeah, and it's just not there. So what is, I mean, the same question to you, what is the ingredient that's missing? You've got the money that could be pushed
It's
in.
got to be. I think I agree with you on the Mississippi State. You know, you're just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And
right.
you may say that about the state of Alabama, but you're right in the middle of some meccas.
Yeah.
And high school football in this state, from a top-end standpoint, we produce as good a talent as anyone in this country does.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you look at the demographic and the population of the states. I mean, outside of Texas and Florida and a couple of others, Alabama's going to produce some of the best talent you're going to see. So you've got that to feed into, and then all of our bordering states. But Mississippi State, I think you make a very good point, and I think Arkansas is an even better point than Mississippi State. You're in no man's land.
Yep.
You've got to recruit to a place in Fayetteville that not many people tend to visit, and they don't tend to win many battles, even though I do think they can potentially play the NIL game as well as any of us can. So I don't look at Arkansas and see that changing anytime soon. South Carolina, I think they got a really good coach. I really think that.
Yeah.
But South Carolina, they're a lesser than. Steve Spurrier had them a little better than a lesser than for a 3 or 4 year period.
Well, he even broke the mold as well and talked about it in a series that they did on him about coming in there and what he done building up Florida and then building up South Carolina. As he got some donors out there that were giving a couple million a year. He had, like, I think he either said there were 7 or 10 people that gave to his program $1 million every year. When you got that, you can go out there and stick that into the facilities and build it up. I'm not sure that same money.
Yeah. Can you stick it in some pockets?
Well, you can stick it in some Dodge Chargers.
We've seen that over the years. Florida is a shock. I don't know what's going on with Florida. When you look down and you see Florida consistently ranked extremely low in recruiting, you look down on the media a couple of years into a new coaching regime has them predicted as the number 12 team in the conference. No one expected this growing up in the 90s like you and I did, moving on into the 2000s where if you beat Florida, which Auburn had a good run of beating Florida when we weren't supposed to many times. But, you know, from the Urban Meyer days and winning national titles, you just don't sense that Florida is going to struggle getting the talent in there and keeping the talent in there. But that has been a program that has surprised me with how much they've struggled over the years.
I think they've gotten into a phase here lately in the last 3 or 4 coaches that they pull the trigger too quick. Like they don't let them build. And now the problem is, and they're fixing to have to do it again, is Billy is doing a great job. I mean, he's a heck of a recruiter. He's getting some kids in there, but the problem is these schedules are packing on top of him, and he's just not going to have a chance. I mean, you look what he's got to play this year, back to back to back. I don't know how he survives it. If he has a bowl game, they need to give him Coach of the Year.
Do the recruits know that?
I think they do.
Why are they struggling? You think that's what the deal is?
I mean, because you look, he had a powerful class going almost to recruiting day last year, and then it just fell apart. Auburn went and got some of them. Alabama got one. Texas got one. I mean, people went in there and just rated him.
It's very odd. And that's going back to Brian Harsin with Auburn. At a certain point, you got to go, okay, what am I weighing your success on?
Right.
Am I weighing it on 7-win seasons, 9-win seasons? I can't allow a 6 or a 5-win season. Am I weighing it on recruiting? Am I weighing it on an internal culture built with athletic director and getting a feel that the NIL is going in the right direction? There's a lot of different answers to this, but you got to know when to pull the trigger.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm getting the feel that unless things turn quickly there, the trigger will be pulled.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't get that sense with Auburn right now. I really don't. I think Hugh Freeze is efforting, and all signs point to Auburn, especially in the high school, not necessarily the transfer portal, but I do think there's some NIL money sitting over there on the sideline waiting to be used whenever we find the right quarterback or the right piece to take this thing to the next level. But I'm thrilled with what we're getting. I couldn't imagine being a Florida fan and saying what I just said there, though.
I think you put yourself in the same, or Auburn does, in your same trajectory as Florida right now. we're on the cusp of, like Billy did, his first year, he went in there and got a bunch of people and got Florida excited.
Yeah.
Then those records started coming, and you were like, whoa, wait a minute, and these recruits backed up. Like last year, like I told you, top 10 class, and then right there at the end of the year, a lot of them backed out because they're like, we don't want to go play for somebody that's not going to win ball games. Hugh's on the cusp right now, like you said. He's building, and he's headed up to that mountain. Now we got to see what we do this year. If we fall back, I think that recruiting class may fall back.
You say that if you show up and you win 7, maybe 8 games, counting the bowl, that may not be enough to go and get the best guys.
Yeah.
But if you win 8, 9 games, maybe kind of step toward that 9, 10 game winning based on the bowl game, that you could go and you could get some guys to take a look that may decide to go to Georgia or Alabama. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
I think that is where Florida is on the downside of that, and whereas Auburn has great opportunity this year to go out there and get some others. Kentucky comes in at number 11, 1 spot ahead of Auburn when it comes to the 2024 SEC media predicted order of finish. Kentucky's a long-term coach, has built-in culture, physical brand of football, should have the pieces in place to play the brand of football that they want. I can.
5-star quarterback got from Georgia.
Auburn's slightly ahead of Kentucky. I think that is a good spot for Auburn to be slightly ahead of Kentucky right now. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the same thing. They like you said, they got pieces. They got that 5-star kid, Vandergriff, or whatever his name was, from Georgia. So they feel like they've got some pieces in the game to be able to play this year to make that jump for themselves. And they just get stuck in that average side. You know, every year they're this 8-4, 9-3 team.
Auburn, as we mentioned, comes in at number 10. We'll talk a lot more about Auburn in the next segments coming forward, and we'll also run from 9 down to 1. Georgia comes in, I think, for the first time in only a couple of years over the last 25 years. They've been picked to win the SEC, and they're picked preseason to win the SEC, and it's by a landslide.
Oh, yeah.
165 votes for SEC champion Georgia. Texas comes in at number 2, and Alabama at number 3 with only 12 votes. So that's the difference between Georgia, 2 at 27 for Texas, 12 votes for Alabama at number 3. That's a landslide if you're a Georgia Bulldog fan right now. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
The good guys at Alex City Marine are ready for your boating needs all summer. And now you can get up to $4,500 in rebates on our huge selection of new Landau Tri-Tunes and sacrifice pricing on remaining 23 models. Alex City Marine also has a new fleet of rental boats for fabulous days on the water. Whether it's service, new pontoon selections, or rental boats, see the pros the locals know. Alex City Marine on Cherokee Road in Alexander City or online at alexcitymarine.com.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Let's get serious. Let's get Arctic Air serious. You want your car and truck to live longer, don't you? Well, it's about maintenance. Same thing with Arctic Air. You see the number at the bottom of the screen? Call them right now. Let me tell you something. You want to be comfortable? We all want to be comfortable.
Are you ready to save big on a new Chevrolet?
Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet for the Chevy Summer Drive. Choose America's #1 compact SUV, the Chevy Equinox, discounted up to $6,000 off. Or powerful full-size Chevy Silverados for up to $14,750 off. And fuel-efficient Chevy Malibus up to $5,750 off. Make your way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet.
Get ready to smile.
Quickly running down this 1-9. We mentioned Auburn came in at number 10 in SEC preseason predicted order of finish by the SEC media. Number 1 was Georgia, 2 Texas, 3 Alabama. You like those 3 in that order, or do you think Texas is a little too high first year in the league?
I mean, I don't know. You got a starting, returning quarterback. You got a lot of pieces that came back to them. Now they also lost a lot of that defensive line. They got some question marks in there. I mean, I don't know. Overseeing it all, I think they're that 2, 3, 4 is interchangeable. Like I said, 6 through 12 is. I think you could see Ole Miss make the jump up there because they're loaded and ready to go, and I think you could see Alabama if Milroe plays the way he should play. You got all 3 of those are interchangeable.
I guess the biggest question mark I've heard that I would understand would be a massive question mark is the 2 defensive tackles for Texas that graded the best NFL grade, I think, going into this year's draft, gone.
Right.
And you're coming into a league where you got to be physical and really, really good up front and really deep up front. It's not that I question that Texas goes out there and gets the Bows and the Joes to be able to do that, but we'll see if that really hurts because they were able to plug some holes last year with those 2 big guys. So Texas, I think it would be my question mark. I don't know that I'd stick Alabama at that 2. Maybe I would. I'm an Auburn fan, so I tend to, if there's ever a hole or a chink in the armor, then I'm going to go in the opposite direction. Ole Miss at 4. Yep. Highest Ole Miss has been preseason that I can remember in quite some time. Deserved so, though, with the end of last year and the amount of talent. You listening to what Nick Saban says from a physicality standpoint on the line of scrimmage. He feels like they put the best brand out there on the lines of scrimmage that they have in quite some time. So we'll see. I think Ole Miss has their opportunities this year.
Well, and even Lane has made it in the media days. He said that we now look the part. He said when our guys walk out on the field, we look like those Alabama linemen. We got the same size guys. We got the talent. I think where the big jump is about to be made for that group, for Auburn and especially Sarkisian, is the rule changes this year where these coaches get to get inside those kids' head and talk to that quarterback. A Lane Kiffin with a brain like he's got or a Sarkisian drawing up paper. You know, like I physically watched Steve Spurrier draw one up on a piece of paper one time on the sideline and run it. And that's what gets me is like if they're that dang good and you're going to give them to talk to the kid up till 15 seconds before the play starts, they're going to pull some plays.
It's going to change everything. You know, I had a really good conversation with a good friend of mine that actually works for one of the companies and is going to be on the sideline and seeing some of the dialogue that's going to be going on there. And I tell you one that he brought up that I hadn't thought about. I had thought more on the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
He brought up the running game.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought up, say, the teams like Navy and teams like that maybe want to run. I know that this isn't necessarily what we're thinking about in the SEC, but it did bring up a thought process that I don't necessarily think of. If you see an opening there, if you can't communicate that, they can't necessarily see it if that's not what they're looking, especially if they're looking in the secondary, which all quarterbacks are now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you see an opening there and I'm going to be able to go and take 4, 5, 6 yards, and I can up there in the box let that quarterback know, look, just move this play to that, like Auburn under Gus Malzahn, the way that we rushed to the line, sped to the line of scrimmage, and ran the football, depending on which opening we felt like we had over and over and over again. Had you thought about the running game being as much of a key to that? Until I talked to him, I hadn't, Jim.
Yes and no. I think the running game for me changed when I knew that they could now have tablets on the sideline and those iPads. They said that's a game changer as well.
I bet.
Because they literally, offensive line comes off the field. They get to go look at every play they just ran, and they go, okay, this guy's lining up in the B gap every time.
Mm-hmm.
We're about to run this at him, and we're going to the house.
And you being a coach, that is what I would see you looking for.
Absolutely.
Is just these guys that aren't moving around. They're not giving me a different look.
Yeah.
Base.
Well, it's
a base package, one play after another.
It's the old adage is if you look at that defensive line and there's holes in it and they can't stop it, don't do anything else until they stop it.
Yeah,
don't get fancy. Don't run trick plays. Don't do all that. Usually a sign of a trick play is they realizing they can't outsmart the other guys or figure something out, so they got to confuse them.
The enigma in the SEC for the last 10 years has been LSU.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea from the start of the season to the end of the season what I'm going to get. I don't know when Joe Burrow is going to pop up on the map and they're going to break all records. Right now, with them listed there or predicted to be the number 5 team going in, who knows? I felt like last year at certain parts of the year that they were making a step towards being one of the top 2 or 3 teams, and then they – you don't know what you're going to get from week to week right now for LSU for me.
Well, the consistency for me is Brian Kelly. Even though Notre Dame, he won a bunch of football games. At LSU, he's been a 9-win, a 10-win.
Yeah.
I mean, he just keeps bringing the wins. If he gets over the hump of losing a couple of those extra games in there, last year what got him beat, he didn't have a defense, and he still won games.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can get over that hump and get some recruits in here to get a defense, he's going to be one of the elite programs as well.
Why do you think of all programs, though, when I think of defense, LSU's one along with Alabama, especially back in the secondary during the strong stretch that both had. How do you get to a point at LSU where you don't have a defense that you can count on?
Well, as we discussed early in the first segment, I think it's the program and your people in place. If you've got a defensive coordinator that's got a certain philosophy, I want to run a 2-2-5 or a 3-3-4 or a 4-3 or whatever it is, he recruits kids to his staff or to his mold. He gets them in there and realizes, oh, crap, everybody else is running spreads now. We recruited kids to stop the run, and we can't compete. And last year, they looked like they got, and I'm trying to think of that one kid's name, Percy. Is it Harvin? Or, no, it's not Harvin. It's you know who I'm talking about, the outside linebacker that's so great for him.
He was freshman All-American.
Yes, that kid, he shouldn't have to be moved all over the field for every different spot. You saw the deficiencies last year. People learned that that's all they had, so they were able to push him out of the play, or they ran the opposite
way. Which is so wild to me, though. I mean, we're talking about LSU and that's how easy you can get behind. We'll finish out right here. Missouri number 6, Tennessee 7, Oklahoma 8. I like all of those. I think Missouri deserved to get a bump this preseason based off of what they did last year. Am I concerned about going on the road and playing Missouri? No, not really.
Their hole is the same as LSU's was last year. Defense this year is going to be hard for them. They're loaded with the offense. They got that quarterback and that receiver Burton coming back. That all world last year.
256-234-6221. Got about 3 more segments left here on the Auburn Blitz.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Presley Appliance and Furniture, located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, is locally owned and operated with over 35 years of experience in the appliance and furniture business. Specializing in Amana, Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Ashley Furniture, Presley Appliance services what they sell and will make sure you receive top-notch customer service. Call them today at 256-329-9762 or drop by to see them on Cherokee Road in Alexander City. Presley Appliance and Furniture, where they service what they sell.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters. Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing is the #1 auto and boat detailing company in Central Alabama. Don't trust your boat or vehicle to just anybody. Hire the professionals. Top-of-the-line ceramic coating, detailing, gel coat restoration, and paint correction gives you the options to take care of your vehicle the right way. Located at 702 McCarty Road in Dayville, Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have you riding in style. Call them today at 256-794-2328 for Superior Automotive and Boat Detailing.
J.A. Smith Construction is your trusted choice for construction site clearing and grading for new home construction, underground utilities and site work, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Jim, let's get your ideas on this. Which returning starter makes the most improvement in 2024? On the offensive side, who do you think? Peyton Thorne, Jarquez Hunter, or Damari Austin?
Hands down, Peyton. Second year in the system. If you go back and look at it, just statistically, a transfer quarterback in their second year has just exploded. You know, Bo Nix done it at Oregon. I name off some of the guy at LSU did it. What was his name? It just went up for the Heisman or won the Heisman. He was a second-year guy.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even think of his name.
Same with Joe Burrow.
Yes.
I mean, these are all second-year guys that had, a good run. And
in the system of Hugh and the way that Hugh thinks and the way Hugh processes, this is always the way I've had a thought as well of, like, teaching kids. I can give you the playbook right now. You don't know me, though. you don't know what I wrote that play for a reason. I can see things like we talked about getting in the kids' headset this year. I can see things that they can't see, and I send this play out there, but if one little thing changed, I see it and they don't see it. Peyton has now had that time to develop that relationship with Hugh, with Nix, with Austin. All of those guys now are all on the same page. I think you're just about to look at an explosion. As long as he stays healthy and he don't get an injury, I think you see his 1,700 yards last year go to 3,000.
I hope you're right. Defensive side of the ball, who do you think makes the biggest improvement in 2024? And I'm going to run down about 5 or 6 names before you pick one here. Jason Jones, Keldrick Falk, Jalen McLeod, Eugene Asante, Austin Keys, Keontae Scott, all right, Kyan Lee.
I think, and Andy and I discussed this one yesterday, I think McLeod stands as big an opportunity as anybody to maximize even more what he did last year and expand on it, because we brought pieces in to help him now. You know, he got I think it was 5.5 sacks last year with a limited defensive line that we had. Now we've got the Bleedies, we've got the other guys in there, Carters, that are in there that are going to eat up some blocks and give him more opportunity one-on-one.
I'm hoping it's Keldrick Falk.
Well,
just from a physicality standpoint, especially against the run. I would like to see Keldrick Falk be, you know, athletic enough on the edge to be able to make plays and to get back in the backfield and disrupt, but also athletic enough on the edge and physical enough on the edge to hold the line of scrimmage and keep us a little more physical and make it a little bit where we had it with Derek Brown and that crew, where we were so physical up front that it was tough to do really anything on us. Which 2024 transfer has the biggest impact in 2024? Lambert Smith from Penn State, Robert Lewis, Sam Jackson, Rico Walker, Percy Lewis, or Ronan Chambers.
Now, to me, KLS presents the greatest opportunity. He's proven he's played the game at a big conference, so he's ready to go. Listening to now Peyton Thorne's thoughts on it, Sam Jackson is all over Peyton's radar. He's talking about how great of an athlete he is. He said the number one thing that people don't realize about him is he used to play quarterback. If I've got a quarterback playing receiver, he says, he knows what I'm looking for. He knows how to get out of that break. He knows how to turn when to turn. He said, us two have got great communication there.
Wow. That was really not necessarily the one that I would think, but that is hopeful when you're bringing up a name like that. Robert Lewis, I think, is going to be steady Eddie. I hope he, 3 or 4 receptions per game type of guy, good physical. Brand of football looked really good in the spring to me. So I'll pick Robert Lewis there. On the defensive side of the ball, Isaiah Rakes, Philip Bleedy, Trill Carter, Gage Keys, Kerryon Crawford. There's a lot of names on here. One that I'll bring up that I'll say because we seem to be a little deficient when it comes in the secondary is Antonio Kite. Anniston High School, transfer over from Alabama. I think he's going to be needed, so I'll go with Antonio Kite. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, mine's probably the same in that defensive line areas because you got so many pieces there now to be able to help out. I think you got a great opportunity for a Rakes to come in and establish himself. I mean, he's already been
It's a need.
Yeah. I mean, he's just got the statue. He's got the background to do it. I mean, I think his name's fixing to pop up.
Which AU freshman makes the biggest impact in 2024? First off, overall, which AU freshman do you think? And then I'll go in offensive and defensive side.
Well, you would want to go with the obvious that everybody in the national media is talking about is Cam Coleman. You're saying that he's going to come in there and make that big of a difference. I think what people are missing is that's all we've seen. Cam got to come in early in spring where these other cats didn't get to come in. You stand Cam and Perry next to each other, they look like two, what do they call them, Megatrons, that they're just supreme athletes. I think you got a chance of seeing Perry do something, of Bryce Keane do something, of Malcolm do something. And it's only because we've pushed Coleman out there in front of everybody else.
Well, reading a lot on Malcolm yesterday, I think he has made a splash. I've said it just because I've seen him up close and personal for the last few years. I know him personally. I know what kind of character he has. I know what kind of hard worker and the type of personality. So the things I'm reading are no surprise to me. The kid's just got a dynamic personality. He's not a frowner. He's not one to sit on the sideline and just wait and let everyone else be productive and he not find his way. And was reading a lot of positive things out of the coaching and the coaching staff and administration on him. And so I don't know if he's ready. Who knows that, but
well, that was going to be my question I was going to present to you, is if you've watched the kid from freshman all the way come up, he's obviously a state champion high jumper. I mean, he's got all the athletic abilities in the world. Where would you, if you were the coach, where would you stick him in at? Would he be a punt returner? Would he be kickoff? Would he be?
I like him at slot receiver better than I like any of that.
Okay.
I like wherever KLS is going, I'd love to see Malcolm be, if 1A is KLS, 1B be Malcolm. They look the imps of one another to me. The beauty of bringing him in with all of the snaps and the yardage and the receptions that he's gotten at Penn State in a big conference against some very big schools would really help Malcolm. I don't think that KLS is going to be any better an athlete than Malcolm Simmons is going to be. And I think that I'm not downplaying how happy I am that we got that transfer in the portal.
Right.
But I think getting someone in that's taken that many snaps and taking a supreme talent like Malcolm and giving him someone to maybe look up to is going to be a big thing.
So then you might also say that it would be a great internship for him because
To me.
KLS has already been there and can show Malcolm how to play the game.
And if that's the case, Malcolm Simmons, to me, he's just got – it's going to be hard to keep him on the sideline.
Right.
He's the most hyperactive kid I've ever called. He cannot sit still. But he brings everybody along with him, Jim. It's not, you've been a coach for a long time.
Yeah.
There are certain kids that have a personality, and that personality, if it's hyperactive, is not necessarily a good thing. And then there's other ones that are like, they love playing ball.
Right.
They just love everything about whatever it is that they're doing. They're in love with it at that moment.
Right.
He's that kid.
Right.
And if you're around enough of those people, even in the business world, your game tends to come up.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's hard for me to think that someone with that high energy and that type of personality is not going to find his way, because not only is he a great talent, but he brings everybody else up with him because you want guys like that out on the field. So I think he finds his way. I think it will be sooner than later, and maybe that's just wishful thinking. Let me go to the phone lines. Caller, you're on the Auburn Blitz. Trey, you there with us?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up? How you doing?
We're good, Trey. Glad to have you, man.
Man, I've been trying to get in. I want to talk a little bit about Auburn's, with some of the incoming freshmen. I feel really good about Auburn.
Tell me which ones you like the best. We're actually on that topic right now, Trey.
With the incoming freshmen, of course, Cam Coleman's a no-brainer. You got Malcolm Simmons who's right there behind him. I've seen these guys live, from covering high school football in the state of Alabama. I mean, these guys are legit. Walker White, I actually got a chance to see him at 707 in Hoover. I like what I see with those freshmen. Also, some guys who are trying to make their way, such as Cole Gamble from Mountain Brook. Man, these kids are going to be some stars. So I really feel like Auburn has now kind of got a staple here with Hugh Freeze and this, the talent in the state of Alabama, because you got guys like Jordan Crawford who's on his way. Overall, I like what Auburn is doing, what Coach Hugh Freeze is doing, and what they have on the football field right now, guys.
Trey, it sounds like you know high school football, and so we're going to go into Big Cat Weekend coming up. And Auburn, and I just like your thoughts on this. I mean, Auburn feels like they're recruiting the state of Alabama as well as we have in quite some time. All of the key guys that you would want in the 25 and 26 class, Auburn will have in for Big Cat Weekend. It feels better to be a fan of Auburn in this state right now with the effort that Hugh Freeze and this staff's giving.
Man, and I tell you, listen, I can tell you right now, Auburn is just as competitive as Alabama has ever been, especially now that Nick Saban is gone. That factor is kind of out the door now for a lot of in-state players who are grown up always going to play for Coach Saban simply because of that factor. So now you got a little bit of a playing field. So I think it's going to be, the top-tier talent in the state now will be looking at both sides, Alabama and Auburn, regardless of how they were raised. But we're looking at what you got on the field, what you're producing, the talent that you're bringing in. Guys just want to play with other good guys. I mean, that's just the pedigree of football ever since AHSAA. It starts when they're young, and the trend is you get with guys who you know are dogs, and that's just kind of how it works right now.
Trey, thank you, buddy. We appreciate the phone call. You can't be a stranger. We got to get you on a little bit more, okay?
No problem, man. Hey, Hall Tech Sports, man. People know me in the state of Alabama.
Oh, yes. I didn't put two and two together. You do a tremendous job, Trey.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys. You guys keep doing what you do for your fan base, because if they tune in, they can hear what's coming to them before they expect it. You know what I mean?
Look forward to talking to you, okay?
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Trey. Yeah, he does an outstanding job covering high school sports here in the state of Alabama on Twitter. That's Hall Tech Sports. Make sure to find him out there, and hopefully we can find a way to work with him a little bit more in the years to come. 256-234-6221 is our phone number out there. More of the Auburn Blitz right after this.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
The only thing real in this video is the new Mr. Beast box at Zaxby's. This restaurant, it's a green screen. The ground I'm walking on, it's a treadmill. Me? I'm not Mr. Beast.
I'm Chandler. Go get the new Mr. Beast box at Zaxby's. It has Feastables.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Bucks Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bucks Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bucksisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
The only thing real in this video is the new Mr. Beast box at Zaxby's. This restaurant, it's a green screen. The ground I'm walking on, it's a treadmill. Me? I'm not Mr. Beast.
I'm Chandler. Go get the new Mr. Beast box at Zaxby's. It has Feastables.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Dadeville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
Jim, where does Auburn sit with the top recruits in the state of Alabama? You got Big Cat Weekend coming up. We have bragged on Hugh Freeze and his staff on their efforts recruiting high school football here in the state of Alabama. But the important thing is, where do you sit? with all of these top-tier recruits, and let me start right there. Number 1 cornerback, Naeem Alford, Parker High School. He's currently an Ohio State commit, but Auburn is still heavily pursuing. I guess there's a question mark around Big Cat Weekend for him. Any update that you've seen there, or of course we'd love to have him.
I think I think that's Hugh still thinks he's in on the mix. He still thinks we got a great opportunity of landing him, and Big Cat is a great opportunity for him to get that commitment. I think you're going to see 1 to 2, probably 2 commits come in over the weekend, and then you're going to have another 1 to 2 on that Monday, Tuesday following it, because you usually get that momentum and that excitement build up. We got those double ones last year with Malcolm and Perry at the same time, and they threw Hugh in the pool. You know, then the next week you got a couple more because those kids got excited. Because you got, as most people don't know about that weekend, they're bringing in not just 10 or 15 kids. I mean, there may be 50 there, and you're talking about the state of Alabama that you brought up in the last segment. The top 10 kids for the state of Alabama in 2026 for next year are all going to be standing at Hugh Freeze's house on Saturday. All of them. When is the last time you knew all top 10 recruits in the top 2026 class is in Auburn, Alabama? That don't happen.
No, and it does tell you the effort that you're getting out there. You know, I am a massive Mark Freeman fan. Thompson High School, Spanish Fort before. Broke mine and your alma mater's heart one too many times down at Spanish Fort when Benjamin Russell took some really good teams down there to play him. Have been a fan of his since then, and I wasn't back during the AHSAA days when he was winning state championships, I think at Bessemer Academy. Is that where he was before? But for a long time, he's been one of the top coaches. And I made mention a few years ago that if Brian Harsin doesn't find his way to Thompson High School, we're in trouble.
Yep.
And he never seemed to find his way. And I segue into this next player with that. Jared Smith, Thompson High School. He's undecided. Auburn has recently picked up momentum. Big Cat Weekend definitely there for him. The number 2 edge, just an outstanding player. Great size, transfer over from Spain Park about midway through the season last year, now at Thompson High School at one of the best programs in the country.
Well, you've said it. We've dropped the ball on one of the greatest programs in the country and not getting recruits. And now all of a sudden Hugh has picked up that ball because you got Fagans in the same conversation.
That's right.
Every time either one of these kids' names comes up, it's like, hey, Auburn's in the hunt for both of them. They're going to go in there and get them both.
And so the effort is there. Do we land one, maybe 2 of them? I'll be happy with 1 of them at this point. The number 3 defensive lineman, Malik Autry, Opelika High School. He is currently an Auburn commit, heavily pursued by others, but AU has a hold so far. Super player. I can watch, you know, it's funny when you have these 7-on-7s, you have these lineman camp going on. It's kind of hard to see. You do a tremendous job of watching and feeding us in with who you think's really good on the lines of scrimmage. Just watching Malik Autry off the hoof, even without pads on,
right?
If his motor is as high as it seems to be, even without pads on, he's one of the best in the country.
Oh, yeah. No, he's every indication that I've read. I haven't seen him in face value yet. Hope to see him this year. I think, when the Wildcats play in first game? I hope to see him in the first game and really get a look.
Yeah, you're going to get a look. We're going to get all the look that we want. Malik Autry, Opelika High School. Number 4 in the state of Alabama's edge, Jacaleb Falk, another Auburn commit, Highland home. More than likely going to shore him up for sure with his brother already there. Seems very solid currently. Just not anywhere near the size of his brother, but more of a skill guy, more of a guy that could be 6'2", 6'3", 225, 230, whereas his brother's 285, 290, 280, 285, somewhere in there. So Jacaleb Falk, tremendous high school basketball player in the state. Saw him in the semifinals this past year for Highland home. And if you can, you know, take that athleticism out there on the basketball court to the football field, that tends to work out pretty well for you.
Sure.
We'll run down the rest of these when we come back and close out the program today. Again, where does Auburn sit with the top recruits in the state of Alabama?
When drinking, take a sober ride home, not someone's life. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
J.A. Smith Construction is your trusted choice for construction site clearing and grading for new home construction, underground utilities and site work, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
At Majestic Caverns, we believe in the power of unforgettable experiences. At a cool 60 degrees year-round, America's most historic caverns guarantees an enjoyable escape. But it doesn't stop there. With over 20 above-ground attractions, including 5 new ones this year, and our Cave Cafe, which offers delicious drinks and plenty of food options. And don't miss our exciting event, Libertas. On June 29th, July 6th, and July 13th, enjoy live entertainment and much more. At Majestic Caverns, your unforgettable adventure awaits.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Announcing Camping World's Inflation Buster camping program. You can now get into a new RV starting at just $98 a month. We won't let the economy steal your camping season. Take advantage of this very limited time offer and lock in your low monthly payment today.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Catch a ride, not a buzz.
Hey, can you come get me?
Being buzzed still counts. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation. When drinking.
Again, where does Auburn sit with the top recruits in the state of Alabama with Big Cat Weekend coming up? Jim and I have been talking 1 through 4. Let's move down to number 5. That's safety Eric Winters from Enterprise High School. Has one of the best high school coaches in the state of Alabama and Coach Blackman, and I think that they're on the come up. I think you'll see Enterprise competing for state championships in football in the years to come. Currently an Auburn commit. I think he's out there and really trying to help shore up some more of these guys to Auburn. Big-time get for Auburn a few weeks back. 6'2", 200-pound safety, physical at 18 years old. You can see kind of the ceiling's extremely high for Eric Winters, Jim.
Yeah, all indications I've seen, the kid can play anything you want him to play. They said they just need to get him on the field. They were so impressed with his athletic abilities, they wanted him on the field somewhere.
And if that tells you how good this Enterprise program, the number 6 prospect in the state of Alabama is his teammate, Zion Grady. He's an edge, currently committed to Ohio State, but Auburn is really working on him. The question is, will he be at Big Cat Weekend? Ohio State, with a couple of these top 6 prospects in the state already committed, NIL money is flowing freely, at Ohio State. I know that they're heavy after, one of our local prospects that's a 2026 kid in Sedarian Morgan, who will be a top 3 prospect in 2026 class from the state of Alabama at 6'5", 210 pounds, an amazing athlete. But Ohio State's doing a tremendous job in the state of Alabama, aren't they?
Well, I mean, when you came in with the comments you made, when you bring the dollars with you, the kids got to look your direction anyway.
Yeah, you're going to compete there.
Now
you're going to be in the mix.
Here is my take on that as well, though. You also got, even though there's money there, you've also got some physical pieces. Is there, like the name you brought up, a Sedarian Morgan that's always lived here in the South? How does he adjust to Ohio State? Like, that's a culture shock in itself.
I guess when you're an athlete and you're around other athletes, you're around other coaches, you've got to commit to the culture and the coaches and the administration. Right. And you got to know that you're going to a place that is obsessed with football. And if you're a football guy, then I'm making the sell for them.
Right.
But you're going to end up in an atmosphere where you're going to succeed. Well, and I can make that. It also helps when that NIL dollar is.
Oh, sure. Well, so here's my question to you again. You've grown up in the South. You've played these August games that y'all are going to start playing or broadcasting when it's 95, 100 degrees out. That don't happen at Ohio State. You may play in the snow over there. It's Sedarian ready to play in the snow.
That would not be something I look forward to.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Where is the break line on Ohio State says, well, we're going to give you $500,000. Auburn says we'll give you $400,000. Does the snow make up $100,000?
It would for me.
There you go.
I know you and I had to play in some adverse conditions, and it was always tough. Right. And I never enjoyed it. I don't think my body ever really acclimated to it, and it's hard for me to believe that if you grow up in that you don't stand a better chance.
Yeah, and I get it that they're out there pulling the dollars and pulling in the recruits, but there's a piece there that you've got to sell the whole place. I mean,
let's finish running down 7 through 10 for where does Auburn sit in recruits here in the state of Alabama. Derek Smith, Southside Selma, currently an Alabama commit. AU making inroads in his recruitment. Big Cat weekend, as we mentioned. Jordan Crawford, also from Parker. So 2 of the top 10 recruits here in the state coming from Parker High School. He's an Auburn commit. Seems very solid at the moment. So big get there for Auburn. Safety Anquan Fagans, all signs point to Auburn being in really good shape there. Announcing on July the 29th, it's come down to Auburn, Clemson, Georgia, and LSU. Big Cat weekend guy, another great size, along with Eric Winters, about 6'2", 185 pounds, playing for one of the top programs in the country. And Antonio Coleman, we'll finish up right there. Saraland High School, he's an Alabama commit. He's been an Auburn commit. He's been an Alabama commit. He's kind of swayed back and forth with who he's committed to. Nobody really knows, but we would love to end up with him. I'll say this, and we'll close right there before we talk about one of our sponsors closing the program here. I just love the idea that we're in on all these guys. I love that you're looking down at programs like Parker and Thompson and Enterprise, and Saraland. It's not the last run athletes at those programs. And whether you end up getting them or you don't, your name's being talked about with guys that, the 9th, 10th, 8th graders are looking up to. And I think that's important. I don't think we've done as good a job as we should have over the years in doing that, Jim.
No, I mean, that's what you, like they said in old recruiting days, you got to build a fence around the state of Alabama, and you can't let that talent escape. You want it to be here because that's what I brought up. Those kids are the ones that are less likely to not have any issues because they've grown up in the South. They've grown up in this culture. They know the love for Auburn. They know the love for Alabama. If I go pull a kid in, not that it's a terrible thing, but it can be. I've seen it myself working there before. You pull a kid in from Maryland, and he comes down here for 2 days and gets so damn hot, he goes, I'm going home, Coach. I've had enough of this.
It does make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, we want to thank all of our great title sponsors here on the Auburn Blitz weekdays, Russell Dewitt Center, J.A. Smith, and Central Alabama Community College. Couldn't bring you the program without them. Pepper Tree Steaks and Wines, our segment sponsor right here. They've got 2 tremendous locations, one over in Montgomery that they've had for quite some time, and now one in Auburn on East Glen. I've been by. I love everything going on there. It's a tremendous spot. So Pepper Tree Steaks and Wines have been a sponsor of ours for well over a year now, and we can't thank them enough. So up against the close of the program, hey, I can feel, once SEC Media Days has happened, Jim, you get the sense that football season's right around the corner. You and I love high school sports, so when I'm running down a list and you want to get me buzzed up, talking about the top recruits in the state of Alabama always makes me a little giddy as well.
Well, and what this world's going through right now, we need something else to talk about.
I won't talk about anything. That's right. I've already canceled out of Facebook. I pull up and deal with it whenever I have to for work. And Twitter, I'm right on the cusp of getting out of that sucker, too. It is difficult. So for my good friend Jim Hardy, I'm Randy Lee saying thanks for tuning in to the Auburn Blitz.